Hello everybody, this is Johnny S with another R6 vlog and another beautiful day driving on a daily routine to work. It's springtime here in Greece, hence why there's so many beautiful flowers and everything. In today's topic I wanted to discuss about something which is very controversial, and you know, the first video that I made was like cursing off people not because they didn't deserve to be cursed but the mentality was that sometimes you cannot take the stupidity on the road. So in today's topic we're going to discuss about Greek driving. That's what I'm going to call it, Greek driving. Then we'll talk mainly about cars, but we'll talk a little bit about bikes as well. I'll try to do the video not getting out of control based on what I see on the road, which is one of the things that I did on the first video. But I'm going to comment on the stupidity nevertheless. I hope also the audio doesn't stuff up. So Greek riding, and it's not just that's the title of the video, but it can be applied to many different places. I haven't traveled a lot. I've only been to a few places. I've been to Australia. Obviously the driving conditions there cannot be compared to here, so whatever I say now does not apply to Australia. Drivers in Australia are they're much better than here. I've also been to Georgia, and they're as bad as here, with not as bad. They're bad. They're bad in a way, but they're not as bad as us. I've been to Rome, and all these places that I mentioned now. I have driven also bikes and cars there, so I was, it's not like that I was just a stand-byer, a by watcher. I was actually part of the driving experience, so I know what it's like. So yeah, I've also been to Rome, Italy, and I've also have gone to Germany, a short trip, Frankfurt, where I did not drive, but I did see, and I was able to, I can speculate on that. So as mentioned in an older video, in the first video, basically my first R6 vlog, the driving in Greece is very, very bad, and I think the reason behind this is because it's a combination of many different things. Part of it is because of people being bored in the cars, so they occupy themselves with things outside of driving, whether that's a mobile phone, talking to their wives, having an argument in the car, wiping your nose, eating a sandwich, doing whatever you can imagine on doing besides actually driving. Another component is not caring about other people. So there's a mentality of why should I care if he doesn't care, something like that, which to me does not make sense. I've never thought like that, and I've never another part of the Greek driving is it's like being a show off. They're trying to, I don't know, be the fastest rider on the road. I don't get it. Maybe compensating for something else. Again, I don't know. It's very, very windy today. I hope you can hear me. And I hope the audio doesn't stop up. And you can see this with different behaviors. For example, the part that is you know, I'm preoccupied with doing something else is obvious and can be seen from the basic fact that they're talking to the mobile phone. They're, you know, they're swerving, they're not paying attention on the lanes, you know, all that. I don't care about the other person can be easily displayed when, for example, there's raining conditions. They see that you're coming, so I have seen people, you know, look on the rearview mirror and say that I'm coming towards them. And not just me, this has happened to, you know, other bikers as well. And they on purposely, how can I say it, on purposely close your way with the thought of, it's legal, I am within my lane. Okay, sometimes not inside the lane, but I don't care about you, you're a motorcycle. Some other cases, kind of like, I have seen you, but I'm not really gonna bother to move over, because why should I? So it's like an egotistical way of driving, you know what I mean? You think about yourself, and like you only do on the road what is hardcore required by law, which is not, you know, like it's not driving like you know, like you're part of the group, let's say. And the other thing that I mentioned, which is related to trying to show off and everything, there's a known phenomenon in Greece which shows and has been witnessed by many things. And these things that I'm saying now is, I've arrived in this decision after many years of being in Greece, talking with other motorcycle drivers, talking with car drivers. It's a known fact. It's such a known fact, what I'm saying now, that 90%, 99% of people in Greece will say, yeah, okay, like even this video that I'm going to make now, there will be people listening to it, and they will say, yeah, okay, why are you telling us this? It's a known fact. But I don't accept it's a known fact, let's not talk about it. No, let's talk about it, and let's change it to whatever degree. And you might think that, yeah, Joe, what do you think, you're going to change the world and you're not going to do this and that? Yeah, okay, whatever. If you got that mentality, then you're never going to do nothing in your world, in your life, sorry. It's never too late to change, and you can change. How much you're going to change, it depends on the, you know, the group effort. Are you going to be able to change your close environment, and only that? Sorry, my throat's really bad today. Yeah. Are you going to be able to change your environment only and a little bit around you? Perhaps that's better. Are you going to be able to, you know, have an influencer status and affect more people? Even better. But in any case, to talk about it is not bad. And I had some other people that they were saying, you know, like nobody wants to hear somebody complain, and nobody is like this, like that. Okay, nobody wants to hear people complain. That's one part of looking at things. To me, it's not, that doesn't make sense. Sorry, it doesn't make sense. Nobody wants to hear people whining, okay, but to actually comment on things which are true, not only some people, not all people, might want to hear it, but some people will say, as we say in Greece, pes ta Chrysostome. You know what I mean? Because, and that means, yeah, dude, finally somebody says it, kind of, in English. Because, you know, some things, like I said, it's not talked about, because like, okay, yeah, what are you saying this now? We all know about this. So when somebody does come out and say it, there's some people that will enjoy listening to it because it's not talked about too much. Other people will think, oh dude, I'm not alone. So this is my belief, and therefore I will talk about it. Now I can agree with the mentality of, don't whinge. People don't want to hear you whinge. Yeah, I agree with that. So it depends on how you comment on this. If you're going to comment on it just purely from a neutral observatory perspective, I don't think it's a problem. And you can even comment on that and say, look what a silly fucker. You know what I mean? It's alright, dude. Like, we are not Sir Galahad. Let's talk with the glove. Yeah, you can comment on things like that. If people are being silly, you can say, what a silly mofo. Sure, you know what I mean? You can say it. Look at this driving, for example, here. One guy wants to go this way, another guy wants to go that way. They're crisscrossing. So what I wanted to say is mostly for people, for non-bikers, but they can be applied to bikers also. So bad drivers can be bikers, they can be car drivers, they can be pedestrians, they can be whatever. You know what I mean? I've almost hit a pedestrian because they jumped this fence here, and the cars were stopped and they wanted to cross across, and bikes usually go between cars, and I almost hit them. So an awareness is good. If you're a pedestrian, like for example here, I always get scared because of that experience that I have. When I don't have these big trucks, I cannot see, it's much more scary. And that goes to another thing, which is for car drivers tinting their windows. For example, that car on my right does not have a tint. This does not, that does not. I can see through the car and I can see if there's a pedestrian. Silly drivers that start tinting windows front, back, left, pitch black. It's like, yeah man, hardcore, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry about it, you're a fucking idiot. There's a reason why your windows should not be as tinted, and that's one of those examples. So many times you will hear, one type of drivers complain and blame another type of drivers. So car drivers will say, bike drivers, Bike drivers will always say, fucking car drivers, whatever they're doing. Pedestrians will say, look at the fucking drivers. In general, dude, I cannot imagine that you're a pedestrian, you have not ridden a car. If you're not, then read about it. I'm sorry to say it like that, but read about it. I cannot imagine that you're a car driving, you don't know what a bike is, or a bike rider that doesn't know what a car is. Everybody should know of all the different types of vehicles. I mean, there's only three. You're either walking by foot, you're going by car, you're going by bike, unless you're taking the goddamn helicopter on the road. That's the only ones that exist. So learn about them. If you're a pedestrian, learn that bikes go between cars. Why? Because that's how we do it. Because if you don't do it and you're not on a bike, you're going to get killed. I'm sorry to say it like that, but you're going to get killed. If you're a bike rider, understand that the visual range of a car driver is much limited. Don't expect them to see you and be surprised, like, oh, you didn't see me. Yeah, if you end up over a bike, wake the fuck up. People will not see you. If you're a car driver on the other sense, don't think because it's your lane, I own my lane. There's bikes that go between lanes. If you're sitting in the rain and there's a lot of cars up ahead and you're not moving, why are you closing the lane of the biker? Like, be a little bit, human, and understand the other person and what he's going through. You know what I mean? A biker is on top of his bike, he's getting wet, and he wants to go to his job. And in any case, if you're a car driver, think of the bikers as such. They are people that are taking risk in their life, being on two wheels. As is, you don't have to add to the difficulty. So these are some thoughts. I'm not going to go into anything specific. These are just discussion points. So it's a general discussion about driving. And as far as bad drivers go, you can find it in bikes as well. There's bikers which they want to go way too fast and they want to push the limits, and therefore they go behind you in small distances, like they drive 1 meter distance from your back wheel. If something happens and I press on my brake, we're going to both go down. We're on 2 wheels. We're not, you know. So there's many bikers as such. Other bikers, they go too slow. They go too slow and they take up the whole lane and just sit there. Again, not caring about is there anybody behind me or not. I do understand that when you're driving, you have to focus on the front of you, and it's the person's behind responsibility to take care of you. That does not mean I'm in front, I don't give a flying rat's ass of what's happening behind me. That does not mean that. It does not mean that. You gotta be aware. And the way that I drive, because some people will say, yeah, you're looking at this from the biker's perspective. No, I've driven cars my whole life, especially in Australia. I've driven cars both left-hand sided steering wheel and right-hand sided steering wheel. I've driven in Georgia, I've driven in Greece, I've driven in many different places. This is not how I drove. This is not how I drive. You know what I mean? Keep a steady pace, make room for other people. Don't think you can go faster than your driving capabilities. I don't change a lot of lanes. I stay towards the right lane, or at least try to keep the lane based on what they're made for. I see a lot of people in Greece that drive cars, and I've been in cars with people, you know what I mean? And it's like this, they stay on the middle lane. Why are you staying on the middle lane? I'm staying on the middle lane because, you know, there's no cars and I prefer to be in the middle lane. Okay, you can do that, it's no problem. But you know, if you're going 60 kilometers per hour, you're not for the middle lane, sorry. And if the right lane is open, go move to the goddamn right lane. So follow the rules, keep on your lane, understand what's going on, what's happening. And that's the way that I drive. Don't go fast, don't go crazy. If you see me drive a car, and I've only been in one car accident when I was 18 years old. That's it. That goes to show something. Somebody that has driven in Australia, I worked as a delivery. I've driven cars. I've worked in a fish factory where the guy told me, jump in the car and take this to the fish shops, and it was the first time that I went in a car and it had a fridge at the back. I could not see nothing. Like, I've driven, guys. I worked in a factory. I was driving a forklift. Like, whatever, it's got wheels, I've driven it. I know what the hell I'm talking about, you know what I mean? It's not random. It's not that some guy decided to, like, hey, let's create, let's have a perception and a view about one thing that I have no idea. No, I do know about some of these things. I've driven in many different areas, in many different conditions. The way that people drive in cars is silly, and you can tell that, and you can, you know, you can ask. How can I say? You can follow the self-judgment. You know when you're doing something wrong. You know when you're pushing it too much. I know it on the bike as well, on the car as well, but less on the car. You know, the rules are there. We're all there to follow, and each one of the person has to take care of their own and of the people around them, not just your own. It's not like, yeah, I was driving properly and I was not doing anything wrong, therefore I'm okay, and it does not matter if the guy next to me fucking dies because I was driving in my lane. Yeah, but I was like a little baby on the road. I don't care. I'm gonna, like, you know what I mean? I'm taking it to extremes to demonstrate the silliness and the stupidity of some of these things. So, you know, to everybody, but especially car drivers, I will say, try to drive better. Take care of the people around you. Okay, this is not a challenge, this is not a competition who's going to get there first. Be aware of what you have. A car, it weighs above a ton of metal. A bike is like 160 kilograms. You can't compare one with the other. Car drivers listen and say, oh, you go fast because you're on a bike. Yeah, I go fast because I reach 100 kilometers in 3 seconds. Like, I open the gas and I close it back again. The acceleration, the deceleration of a bike, if you've not driven it, you're not going to understand it. It does not mean that because I reach 100 kilometers, I'm going fast. On the contrary, on an average, I might be going slower. Anyway, I will bid you goodbye. I've reached my work. I wish you all to have an awesome day. And let's all try to be better drivers. All of us. Thank you very much, guys. Goodbye.